Oni-chan, to another episode of the Otaku Crew Podcast. I'm your host, as always, the super-sized senpai, Tony Smith. I'm joined today, as always, with my co-host, two guys who can Naruto run better than me, Weebtastic Marc and the sword-wielding specialist Brandon. What's going on, fellas?
Well, not much, but just to mention, I'm not sure I can Naruto run better than you, but I sure can Hidashoji.
Look, man, I'm just happy. I'm like Yusuke. I died and it came back to life. I'm kind of happy about that.
Yeah, man, how you feeling? For those who didn't know, Brandon was out last week. Last episode wasn't feeling too well. How you feeling now, man? A lot better?
I mean, I found out I had diabetes and hadn't known it for 2 years. So yeah, I feel a lot better.
Oh my god.
Not good, man.
Apparently, I went get personal for a minute. I went in the insulin shock. Didn't know it. I didn't die. That's the good thing.
That's
true. I came back stronger.
The best part.
I came back stronger like a good sword. But yeah.
Well, it's good to know that you're on the mend, and we wish you the best with things going forward. Obviously, you're gonna have to keep those levels checked.
Yeah.
So that doesn't happen again.
I got stuff now and be good. So I thank y'all for worrying about me.
Really glad to hear.
Me too.
As always, every episode we're going to talk about a little geek-centric news, followed by our main topic. Today's particular topic is anime everyone loves that we personally hate. You know, there are a lot of popular anime out there that everybody raves about, and sometimes you're just not a fan. And as always, we'll end with what we are watching.
Basically, we can call this episode "Let's Get Flamed by Our Co-Host."
Possibly.
Oh yeah.
Depends on what we're particularly talking about.
You know me for a long time, and you know exactly which one I'm gonna bring. So
I know one in particular. You'll definitely disagree with me on. Before we get into that, let's kick it off with some geek-centric news. You guys got anything interesting that you?
Yeah, I'm gonna start. I'm gonna start because I'm scared that you guys steal that one from me. But Star Wars severs their ties with the Mandalorian star Gina Carano. Don't know if you heard about that.
Yeah,
I heard about it.
He's playing
I
Cara
think everybody's
Dune.
heard about that. Yeah, that's
I didn't want to lose that one because honestly, I loved her character. I love Cara Dune, but
I found her personally good to look at.
Oh, I figured you did. I figured.
Yes, indeed. I love me a thick lady. She's
thick ties save lives, eh?
Indeed. Indeed.
Yeah, I guess she had like Nazi propaganda, I think it's called in English.
No, that's not what happened.
No, she spoke politically and people didn't like her opinion.
No,
yeah,
I have her actual post on Instagram right in front of me that got deleted and stuff. And Jews were beaten in the street, not by Nazi soldiers, but by their neighbors and even by children, because history is edited. Most people today, blah, 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 it goes on and on. How is that different from hating someone from the political view and stuff like that? And she was transphobic with some of their posts, and it's pretty crazy.
Well, here's the deal. She's been in the hot seat a few times with very controversial posts, tweets over the last, few months or so. She's been anti-mask, which I don't care what you feel on it. I disagree with you if you feel like you shouldn't be wearing masks. We're going through a very deadly pandemic, and people are dropping like flies. Wear your mask,
working
please.
in healthcare, wear your freaking mask, please.
Exactly. That's something I advocate for very heavily.
I wear a mask 8 hours a day at work because some people don't wear their damn mask outside.
Agreed.
Yeah,
it's absolutely ridiculous, and there are a lot. Even if you don't care about yourself, think about your neighbors, think about the elderly, think about children. It's hurting people. But we're not going to get too political on that. But as far as everything going on with her, I guess the issue here is that, first of all, more than anything else, if you are a celebrity, if you are somebody in the public eye and you worry about your job in any way, stay the hell off of Twitter. Just don't have it, at all. Or at the very least, have a PR person who can make sure what you put out there is seen.
Yeah, but if you're dumb like a certain president, even if you have a PR person, it won't work.
Or even have someone just edit your tweet so you don't say stuff that you may regret later?
Yeah, I mean, not everybody has the I don't give a fuck style of Trump, particularly. A lot of other people, he's wealthy, he's powerful. No one's canceling him. It's sad and ridiculous it is. Yeah, he's too out there with it to really be canceled because he doesn't care. But for everyone else, all the regular people, even celebrities in that regard, if you care about your job, shut the hell up. Like, it's no simpler way to put that.
Yeah.
Now, as far as her being canceled, that's where the controversy really comes in. A lot of people are absolute different sides of the fence with this. And for anybody who hasn't been paying attention, who's been living under a rock, basically her latest tweet was about the fact that she feels like Republicans are being prosecuted the way Jews were during the Holocaust, which is so stupid. Which is just so, it's really, really, really stupid.
I'm really unaware what's happening in the States right now, but last time I checked, the Republicans are not being gassed in the chamber.
Yeah, pretty much. That's kind of how that's working right now.
Yeah. Here's a big deal, is that you have a choice to be a Republican or Democrat, or whatever you choose to be, politically speaking. You have a choice. Those people didn't have a choice. They were rounded up for their looks, were thrown into camps, mistreated terribly, starved, burned, the likes of it. And I don't want to get too heavy into this because we have a lot to talk about today, but it's a ridiculous view to have, and she should have kept her mouth shut. With that said, I do not think she was trying to be. I don't think she was trying. She took a what's the word I'm looking for? Is it an analogy? Is that what I'm looking for? I forget.
Yeah, I think that's the word you're looking for.
Yeah, she took an analogy. She took a swing at trying to compare two things and chose badly. That's all it really was. It was a mistake to put that kind of thing out there. So I think she's ridiculous. No question about it. I mean, all her past tweets shows me the kind of person she is, and I wouldn't want to be around her based on those views. But I don't think she had any ill will towards the Jewish community. As a Jewish person myself, a lot of you don't know, I think she didn't have any ill will, as to what she was saying.
It's like a case of badly chosen word, basically.
Yeah, she slipped up. I mean, it's worse because she had to type it, you read it, and send it. But it's clearly not what she meant, per se.
I also don't think she was actually thinking about the repercussions of what was coming out of her mouth as she was typing.
I don't know about that so much because, again, she's known for her really controversial, tweets. So I feel like she knew what she was writing. She knew what she was saying. She didn't realize how negatively it would be taken. I think that's more impactful.
And you gotta also think that you work for Disney, and who is the founder of Disney?
That's another thing. I mean, that's a whole other story. I'm not going to get into the deep lore of Disney and, the anti-Semitic natures of that.
I was just saying.
That's a whole other thing. But as far as her goes, the big issue now is it's not about just the tweet anymore or anything like that. It's about, should she be canceled for it? Should she lose her job over it? Should her career be ruined over it?
No,
and
I don't think
I'm in two camps. All right, and it's difficult because I'm dancing on the fence here, and I know a lot of people don't like that. But I can't help it in this case because on the one hand, I know that it was, I can't say I know, but I believe what she did was a mistake. It wasn't meant in any ill manner or anything like that. So I think this is a slap on the wrist kind of deal, although maybe that has to be compounded because, let's be honest, again, she's had very controversial tweets in the past, but then again, those are your personal. Yeah, but those are personal opinions, so it's not bad. You have the right to say what you want. Although, like a friend of mine loves to say, you have the First Amendment on your side when it comes to freedom of speech. but that doesn't mean you have freedom of consequences. So what you get is what you get. You can say whatever you want, but the blowback is on you. Mm-hmm. I think in this case, I don't think her career should be ruined because of it.
No.
Here's one on the other side of this, though. If I'm the head of Disney, I look and see that there is a massive outcry of hate for this tweet, for what she said, and so on and so forth. I've got to think about more than just this person. I actually, and I know this is cruel to say, care about this person. This person is a small cog in a giant machine. And I need to look out for the machine.
You have to think about the image of the company.
Exactly. The image, the revenue, there's so many aspects to worry about. And it's easier to cut out the tumor than it is, to...
And honestly, it's not like she was like a big star of the show too. She appeared like in a few episodes in 2 seasons.
Yeah, exactly.
So it's not like we're cutting Baby Yoda.
There are just certain Hollywood royalty that can kind of get away with things if enough time passes. Gina's not one of those people. She's not big enough to just believe she could sidestep this with time. She's gonna have to make a public apology and pray that enough people
that side
don't see her negatively. That her career can continue. But this could torpedo her career. It could. So.
But here's
talk about me. Talk good. Talk about me good. Talk about me bad. But at least talk about me.
So you're breaking up.
For her.
Who am I breaking up?
No. Mark is breaking up.
Oh, is it working better now?
Yeah, we're good.
Oh, okay. No, it's like talk about me good or talk about me bad, but at least they're talking about me. Maybe it will work for her, but...
That's a rough deal because society's not like that anymore.
No.
That used to be, there was no such thing as bad publicity, and that's not nearly as true anymore. With a more conscious society, some call it, a millennial thinking or, SJW or, whatever you want to call it. But, and again, I don't want to get too much deeper into this, but I feel like at least I should generally make a point on something like this for anybody listening. I know there are people out there who feel like they can't say or do anything anymore. They feel boxed in. They feel like we live in a world where we can't enjoy just being ourselves anymore. And I get that. What a lot of people seem to not realize, though, is, yes, once upon a time, people, as they say, weren't so sensitive. You could have a show like Married with Children, and it wasn't a big deal. We missed that kind of viewing. We missed that kind of life. The thing is that we live in a society now where we're starting to realize the repercussions of what we say and do. People didn't care back then. They just didn't. If they want to call you fat or stupid or unfortunately the word retarded or any kind of, negative stereotype, they feel back then it didn't matter how you felt. We realize now that these things have consequences. We have people who commit suicide, who fall into alcoholism and drug use and all these other things because of how they're treated through their lives because other people didn't care. And we're trying to make a more conscious change to that. And I know people feel like I can't say what I want, but honestly, why would you want to say anything that hurts people? I'm not saying that, if you're a comedian, that's one of the few careers where saying what's on your mind is generally okay because you're here for entertainment. We know, or at least we believe, you're not in this to hurt people. You're in this to make laughs and so on and so forth. And yes, among your friends, you know where the lines are, but there are more people out there than just your personal circle. So when you write something like a tweet or put it on Facebook or anything like that, you should be a bit more conscious about what other people feel. That's how we should all be. It's better for mankind in general. And I don't want to sound like some wheatgrass, soy boy type, person or however I would be categorized for these views. But that's what we should be striving towards, is being a better society towards each other, being better people, and that's generally my view on this, is that, yeah, the world has gotten a little more sensitive, but it's it's a good thing. It really is. We should be more worried about what we say and do around people. That's just my 2 cents on it.
Words have consequences.
They do. They really do. As somebody who grew up overweight, I know how painful. I've learned to brush it off. Yep. I learned to brush it off over the years because I realized, if I let it get to me, the person who says it wins and all of that, all the lies you tell yourself to get through it, But why should you have to feel that way? Why should someone want to make you feel that way? That's the deal.
But themselves up. That's the only reason.
Agreed.
Here's the thing. Here's my 2 cents in this. Like, I agree with you. Like, a lot of that, like me being also an overweight kid, an overweight adult, you learn to have to take those criticism and just go, whatever you say, and just like let it roll off your shoulder. Yeah. That's true. People are allowed to have their opinions, but those type of things aren't allowed anymore. You can't just run off on your mouth now and think it's just all going to be cool. Everybody's just going to enjoy it. That's not how it works anymore.
But I totally agree with what you just said, Brendan. You just to roll it off. But at the same time, we shouldn't have to worry it off. People should use common sense and not hurt people. But we're living in a stupid society now, so.
I can agree with you on that. But the thing is, a lot of people are going to do what they want.
Yeah.
That's a whole other thing on itself. That's how some people are raised to be. And some people raised to be a-holes make the next generation a-holes. But all we can do is just try and be better than the last a-hole. That's just my 2 cents on it.
My point is that, exactly, that's just something my point, is that if everybody takes a little more time to be more conscious of what they say and do in the hopes of trying to make it a better world, even a little bit, we'll have great change over time, And we won't feel so boxed in because we won't think about things like that anymore. It's changed with every generation. The next generation, in theory, should be a kinder, more emotionally sensitive generation. It doesn't mean, and I know that a lot of people who think emotionally sensitive means weak. It does not. All right, You can be the toughest man on earth and still care about people. That's I hate that comparison. We're sensitive, so we're weak and we're easily conquered, and all this other nonsense that people tell themselves to continue to be a-holes. It's ridiculous.
Some people, like my grandfather would say, let's see, men don't cry, men don't show emotion, men don't feel pain. That's how we're supposed to be. Yeah. My mother told me that's a straight up lie.
Alcoholics, wife beaters, and drug users.
And
because they never learn how to handle their emotions.
And my mother said that's a straight up lie. You go ahead, cry. You feel what you got to feel. You let it out,
exactly.
Then you move on.
You're not weak because it's a fucked up way of thinking.
No, it's not. You gotta let that stuff out because that stuff eventually eats a hole at you, and then you just spread that misery and delusion to everybody else. And that's not the world we should live in.
Someone who was hit by depression because I kept everything bottled up inside, I know exactly what you feel. Now I feel better. I learned myself to open up to everyone if needs may be. It's not something easy.
Because
society want man, well, not as much as before, but wants men to be strong and tough. And the last generation, like our parents and their grandparents and stuff like that, were not used to let us know how to show their emotion. If you know what I mean?
What you mean?
I get exactly what you mean.
Yeah.
But anyway, let's push on.
Let's
talk about bullying.
We got far deeper in this than what we should have.
I feel almost like we had like a psychological podcast.
Well, sometimes you got some stuff you want to talk about, and I'm okay with that. This is a general topic that should be discussed. Because and we're not the only people talking about it. Lots of people talking about it. At the end of the day, she said something stupid, and she got punished for it. And I don't blame the company for doing that because at the end of the day, I am 100% sure she signed a contract that said she can't do certain things. And I'm sure this is one of them.
It's like every job.
Yeah, every big company has you sign a bunch of stuff to make sure that they keep their company in the black. That's how they do that. And Marvel, Disney especially is highly known for their very constrictive contracts. What else you got?
I got a news that I am personally super hyped for. Because, Anthony, you know how much I love Final Fantasy 14.
Indeed.
The new freaking expansion is coming this fall. It's the Endwalker expansion with a new job, a new freaking class, and it's a healer. It's a sage. I am livid. I can't fucking wait.
I need you to breathe. I need you to breathe for a second, okay? Take a breath.
Okay.
So, new class.
I hear a lot of people.
A new class. It's a healer. It's a sage. It's called a sage.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
And from what I see from the teaser that they sent, we're gonna go on the moon.
Wait, what?
Yeah. Yeah. You clearly see the Warrior of Light on the moon.
I don't know what any of that is, but if you're happy about it, I'm happy about it.
I have to go re-up my Final Fantasy account. Excuse me.
And I do not.
You're missing out, but it's gonna be dope. We were missing a good healing class. I mean, White Mage is OP. The rest of them,
The White Mage is OP when done right.
Wow, if you just spam holy, but let's not get into that. Yeah. But no.
If you couldn't tell, Mark's a big fan of Final Fantasy.
So am I. That's why I just went,
Speaking of video games, Mass Effect Legendary Edition. That's actually something I'm pretty stoked for. I don't know when I'll get it, but I definitely see myself.
Me on release date.
Yeah. I'm really looking forward to it, although I don't like the idea of playing it on mouse and keyboard, but my hands are so accustomed to mouse and keyboard now that I don't think I can go back to controller, but controller is so natural for Mass Effect that I don't know what I'm doing. Because I tried to play Halo on mouse and keyboard, and I did not like it at all.
It just made you feel weird, didn't it?
Yeah, there's just some games that feel better with a controller in your hand, and I miss that, that feeling. But now, since I've spent years on mouse and keyboard, I've tried to go back. I've even bought a controller for my PC and have tried to use it, and it just feels so awkward. And
it feels unnatural.
Yeah, I'm sure if I use it, force through it, it will become more natural with time. But it kind of requires you to keep pushing through that I'm just not willing to do.
By the way, gentlemen, my gaming laptop will be here next month.
Oh,
that's awesome, man.
So I can finally become a man of culture instead of being what I have been now. I am sorry.
I am pumped for that. I'm glad because
so you can join us.
Me and Mark have been gaming. Well, we've been gaming for a while anyway, but on PC,
6 or 7 years now.
Yeah, and so it'd be good to add you to our team.
But we have to warn you: if you play Elder Scrolls Online with us, me and Anthony are getting married.
Yes, we're getting married on Elder Scrolls Online.
Look,
for those who don't know.
Look, I am more for people getting married in video games. I am all for it. I will bring flowers to your wedding.
In Elder Scrolls,
girl.
In Elder Scrolls, you get a 10% buff to your XP gain if you get married. So you have to go to the shrine. Yeah, you get rings and everything. It's really hilarious. I actually saw the other day. Dude, check it out. I even noticed in the Crown store, which is the ESO store.
Mm-hmm. I know. I play ESO.
They have wedding dresses and tuxedos, bro.
Oh my god!
I need to see y'all in that, and bro,
I was laughing my ass off about that.
Do you want to be my flower girl, Brandon?
Yo, and it's funny. She has a female character, so it's really hilarious.
I have a female character. I will bring her just for that wedding.
To be clear to everybody, not that a man can't wear a wedding dress if he wants to.
Because
you do what you want to do.
MMORPG stands for many men online role-playing as girls. So,
indeed.
Fair. I've never done it, but hey, whatever works for everybody else.
It's giving you a buff. I ain't mad at that.
But anyway, tied to the whole Mass Effect Legendary Edition, there's been some controversy lately, and I don't know if you guys have heard about this, and it's one of the stupidest controversies I have ever seen. What is the character? I don't want to say main girl, but she is kind of the main girl in the Mass Effect story. She's the only human. What's her name? Ashley. I can't remember. I can't remember her name. She's the one that wears the black and white suit. Not suit, but like outfit. I think it's Miranda. I think.
Yeah. Miranda. The one with the ass effect got my master.
Yeah. This is the controversy because. Yep, this is the controversy because BioWare has decided to, in a attempt to limit over-sexualizing females.
Oh, they took
to reduce her butt so it's not as voluptuous as it was in prior games.
But there's a good thing about that, since you're probably gonna get it on PC. Mods
exist or whatever. I'm not going as far as doing that for that.
No.
I mean, listen, and let's be honest here. If you want to see derrieres and whatnot, video games are not the place to go to. There are other places you can go. All right, there are special websites dedicated to seeing all the things you want to see
and
in the way you want to see them.
Their time putting a mod to see Miranda's ass when you have time.
I'm sure people will do it because there are people out there who are just ridiculous enough to do it. But my thing is that this shouldn't be a controversy. It's just downright stupid.
It's just a camera angle.
And that's not even the deal for me, is that, I understand the way they're going with it because, females in video games have been over-sexualized. I'm okay if they want to tone things down. I mean, don't get me wrong, and this is, I feel a lot of people don't seem to understand. I get the fact that you don't want to over-sexualize women in video games, but women are sexy. That's just what they are. They are the Ferraris of the human race. That's the way I look at it.
And we are like the Mini Cooper.
We are I'd say
with the Pintos, bro. Let's just keep it real.
I would say we're more the pickup trucks of people. We're durable. Okay. We carry heavy things. We are rough, and yeah, that's essentially the deal. So. We are what we are. Now, I'm not saying men can't be sexy and women can't be tough or strong, blah, blah, blah. I'm not going into all that. All I'm saying is this. I feel like this controversy is stupid. Plain and simple. A female being attractive in a game shouldn't be cause for uproar. And the opposite. A woman being desexified in a game shouldn't be an uproar. As a matter of fact, it should be whatever the developers want it to be. If you don't like sexualized women in video games, stop playing video games. And if a company decides they want to tone it back and you don't like it, don't play the game. It's very, very simple. This is kindergarten stupid. It's what it is.
I mean, it's just sexual, so.
Yes, it's just exactly. We have real human people out here that you can talk to.
Specialized website for those kind of things.
Exactly. I mean, listen, if there are two routes you can go with this. You can either get behind your screen and enjoy the very vast websites out there dedicated to all the bits and parts of the male and female anatomy you could possibly ask for. Or go meet somebody. Meet a person, date a person, grind up on them if they allow it, whatever the case may be. That's your
grind
business.
Some XP.
That's how they do. Yeah, but your whole deal shouldn't be based on a video game. This is ridiculous. But anyway, moving on. What else you guys got?
All right, I got something in comic book news. If anybody here is a DC fan and a Static Shock fan, I have some good news for you. This came out 3 hours ago.
I'm a massive fan.
Okay. That what a group called the Milestones is returning back to DC, which is mostly a whole group of Black and Spanish superheroes.
Yeah, the gentleman. That's generally what I know about. I don't know all the grand details, but that's essentially the deal.
Well, with them with the Milestones returning, the Dakota universe or Earth M gets to return, so we get Static Shock back, and he also gets an eight comic miniseries to come back with it also.
Fantastic. I'm super happy for that because we haven't had a good Static Shock in anything for quite a while. I mean, the last real Static Shock amazing thing we had was the television series back in the 90s.
Because also they're trying to reboot his actual TV show. So they're trying to bring it back to this time period. Which would be, to me, really awesome to see.
It would be. I don't see it happen. I'm not saying it can't happen. Actually, that's kind of what I'm saying. But I love for it to happen. Society is the way it is, and we can't seem to, and I'm going to get a tad controversial. We can't seem to have anything good for black folks, like anything positive for us. Perfect example, Black Lightning. CW is full of moderately entertaining shows that are cringily, cheesily written shows. All right, that's what they are, and it's
to be fair, it's DC.
That's true, but I mean, DC doesn't have this, not necessarily cringe. I mean, to be perfectly honest, most DC is pretty mainlined, if anything. I mean, it depends on the heroes and villains and things you're talking about. But with the CW, they tend to take even the darkest characters and find a way to kind of cheese them. It's with cringy lines and things like that. But I mean, I'm a fan. I've been watching them for years. And then we, all of them get all of these seasons, 6-7 seasons and whatnot. And then we get Black Lightning. And Black Lightning legitimately takes on real issues with, real racial issues. And this will be their last season. And I think they've only gotten, 3 seasons?
Yeah, this would be their 4th and last season. I'm with you.
That's ridiculous. That's absolutely ridiculous.
Unfortunately, that's always been... all TV shows literally do that. If we're not,
this is why.
With for example, Power. Power is a literal stereotypical TV show. If it's not something like that, we auto get kicked off for being real.
You are absolutely 100% correct. If we aren't gangbanging or selling drugs, or if we're doing anything negative, the show is a hit and we'll keep it on forever. All right?
Mm-hmm.
But if it's anything positive that shows black folks doing things positively, coming together, and so it's done. It's nixed. And I don't care, what people feel about it. If, you're listening to this right now, like, oh boy, they're getting into, this heavy-handed stuff, whatever. Yes, I'm getting heavy. I know, but I'm not wrong either.
No,
it's what it is. With
And speaking of that, did y'all hear about the black TikTok creator?
No, I didn't.
All right, there is a lovely young lady who was named, I believe, Electric Bum. She is a black cosplayer.
Okay.
They bullied her off of TikTok, and I quote, because they told her she can't play Hinata because Hinata's white, not black.
What?
I remember this. Yeah.
And they also told her Hinata's not a monkey. Here's what I'm going to say to everybody. If you're going to say that comment, you're kind of stupid because Hinata is not even white. Most animes are based in Japan folklore, in the Asian market area. So,
exactly.
For people who say this, if you're trying to cosplay them, you can't do it either. So stop getting on people who are trying to express themselves.
Still, you're cosplaying a character that you love. You do your own version of it. Why would you be shamed for doing something you like?
More importantly than any of that, they're fiction, man. They're not real. They're not real characters. They're not real
exactly.
people. They are characters created from the mind of the writer, and so on and so forth. It's ridiculous. All right. One of my good friends is a cosplayer, a black woman, and I love what she's doing. She's getting heavier and heavier into it, and I wish her all the best with it. I was looking at some of her stuff the other day. For anybody who's interested, look into Shay Senpai. She's having a blast with it, and I love what she's doing.
And she was on her first 2 episodes too.
It's ridiculous. I think there's just really nothing else to really say on it. It's just stupid.
Because it's sad.
Why go after someone who's enjoying what they do? It's absolutely ridiculous, especially over fantasy characters.
They're jealous.
That's just ridiculous. But anyway, I think this is going to be the last topic we're going to talk on before we move into the main topic. Falcon and the Winter Soldier coming out March 19th, after a week after WandaVision ends, which, by the way, I'm really enjoying.
I am too. Me and my wife are waiting for Fridays to watch it.
Anyway, we've dove into WandaVision when we were supposed to be talking about Falcon and Winter Soldier. And the fact that I'm really pumped for that. It looks like it's going to be a blast. A little more action-packed than will be, right now we're dealing with more psychological stuff. This is going to be a lot more action, explosions, and combat.
Buddy cop type thing.
Yeah. I mean, because it's interesting. You're putting two people again who are kind of friend-ish. They're clearly friends with Captain America. We all have that relationship with a friend where we're friends with somebody and, we hang out by association.
Yeah.
And then you remove that friend from the equation, and now me and that person have to kind of get to know each other, personally, and it's like, this is awkward. And for them, it's really funny because, you can't really tell if they like each other. They respect each other at the very least, but liking each other is a different story. And a lot of that's going to be tied into this. On top of, who's going to become Captain America next. There are some theories as to, I can't remember what's his name. He is the more aggressive Captain America. Essentially he's Captain America because he has the enhancements, the super soldier serum and whatnot, but he's a lot more brutal and kind of a dick. He's a lot more aggressive than Captain America. He does not care about, people. Does like the fame that, people worshiping him, but he doesn't exactly care. He's very similar to Homelander, I'd say.
Say it's not it's not Hydra Cap.
No. He's actually employed by the government. The government made him as a replacement for Captain America.
U.S. agent?
Maybe. Yeah. I think it is.
He's basically the opposite of Captain America in almost every way.
Yeah, he's pretty much Captain America's opposite in pretty much every way, except their power set and skills. Although they say U.S. Patriot is technically stronger than Captain America, physically. Which I guess makes sense. They have a modified version of the super soldier serum, so it could easily be modded to give him more power.
Yeah,
so,
because he started out as Super Patriot, and then they turned him into U.S. agent.
Yeah.
Wow.
So it's gonna be. There's talk. I mean, that's a rumor that he's gonna be kind of. I don't know if he's gonna be an antagonist exactly. I'm not sure if he's gonna be a bad guy per se, but he could be a bit of a thorn in the side of Falcon and Winter Soldier for whatever they're trying to do. Maybe the government's like, hey man, you guys can't get this done. Or maybe they've gone AWOL, doing something they're not supposed to do. They, feel like they need to do it. And, the government's like, no, you guys aren't, official soldiers. You were doing the Avengers stuff and we let that slide. But in reality, you're not military soldiers for the U.S. government. Technically both of them were at one point in time. But for whatever reason, they've since been, removed, I guess. And they decided that they're going to be replaced with this new Captain America. And they're like, nah, we got things we want to do and take care of, and screw you. And they're like, nope, we're going to send this guy after you. So essentially, nobody's the bad guy. Everyone's just doing what they think is right. And U.S. soldiers essentially going to be forced to go after them is doing his duty while they'll be
on the run
or whatever, which is possible. I have no idea which way they're going with this, but because I know in the comics, he is. I don't know if he goes full villain, but he's brutal. Again, I compare him to Homelander, not as homicide-y as Homelander, but close enough.
Nah, he just beats villains to a pulp and takes them to jail.
He has no problem. He has no problem with killing somebody if they need to die. But anyway, it's time to move on to our main topic because we have been eating up a lot of time with the geek-centric stuff.
Just a little.
Yeah, so this segment is going to be about anime everyone loves that, we hate. It's just what it is, man. Sometimes popular anime get out there. There are people I talk to who can't stand Attack on Titans. And for those people, you have an opinion, but your opinion's wrong, buddy.
Yeah.
Attack on Titans is awesome. There are people who don't like ReZero. Re:Zero is incredibly popular. You know, there are a lot of popular anime. I met one person who didn't like Hunter x Hunter, thought it was just a terrible anime, and for that person, I wanted to send to the bowels of hell. Nobody badmouths Hunter x Hunter to me. Okay.
I'm about to say, may I go first?
Yeah, you keep your opinions to yourself.
Yeah, I'm actually curious about you, Brandon.
Yeah, feel free. Yeah, you can take it.
My first one is going to get me so much slack, but I just don't care. I absolutely despise Dragon Ball Z.
Ooh.
You know what? I'll go with you there, Brendan.
And here's why I despise Dragon Ball Z. One, what they did to Gohan was wrong. And I watched
they killed the character.
To know that. You literally made a great character, destroyed him because his father was the more popular character. That's wrong. Mm-hmm. We obviously all knew Gohan was supposed to be the replacement, and y'all just said no. Secondly...
Take a pause real quick before you continue. I have a question. Is it that you don't like Dragon Ball Z because you don't like it, you don't like what it's about, or you do not like the direction the show went in?
It's a little bit of both.
Okay, because I may have not been clear on this. My guideline essentially is that it's a show you can't get into for whatever reason. It's just you don't like it. Versus there are anime that I like that I originally liked, and then I lost taste for because of directions they went into. And that's not really the same thing.
Here's my thing. I was forced to watch Dragon Ball Z because it came on Toonami. There was a cartoon I wanted to watch that came on after Dragon Ball Z, but my father wanted to watch Dragon Ball Z first. Mm-hmm. So I had to sit there and suffer through it.
Yeah. It's just that based on that, it's weird that your argument is what they did to Gohan, which shouldn't really be the case as to why you don't like the anime itself. It should be, I don't like that everything is solved with just the most over-the-top ridiculous combat, or the fact that it takes 100 episodes to get to any point, stuff like that.
Or 3 episodes of screaming to have an actual attack.
Exactly. Essentially different than, I don't like the direction they've gone with Gohan. They shouldn't have done that to his character. He was awesome, or whatever the case may be. That's actually a different topic. And actually, we'll make that a topic. But yeah, you continue. I just wanted to know where you were coming from with that. Let me see.
But I'll be with Brandon on that one. Dragon Ball Z is something I used to enjoy when I was a kid, and then after Cell Saga for me died. It was just boring at some point. It's only fighting and Goku gets overpowered.
Yeah, that goes right back into what I told Brandon. It's essentially you don't like the show from the beginning. It can't be a situation where you used to like the show but you don't like it anymore. And that's a different topic. Every one on my list is essentially anime that I tried to get into, but for one reason or another, I just could not. It's just not a fun or compelling or enjoyable anime.
I was talking about Dragon Ball Z and why I cannot stand it.
Okay.
First of all, the premise is so stupid. No one should be sitting there screaming, and the villain just sits there and goes, "Okay, I'm just gonna let you power up a little bit." Like, what actual villain does that?
Yeah. I think
the fact that Frieza keeps calling people monkeys was something that kind of pissed me off a lot. Like, really?
I like Dragon Ball Z. I'm not in love with Dragon Ball Z, at least not the way I was when I was a kid. Perfectly honest, Dragon Ball was the one I loved.
That one I enjoyed.
Yeah, but
for me, back in the days, was Dragon Ball Z. Dragon Ball never got into it.
Yeah, it's
just, to me, Dragon Ball is just Dragon Ball Z to me just like, why? I understand it's a GOAT, and I understand the storyline. It's like, okay, the story on paper looks good, but the fact that Goku's an idiot and puts everybody else's life at risk just to get his jollies off, and he doesn't seem to grasp that.
It didn't really start that way. I mean, he was legitimately fighting people who were trying to destroy the planet, and eventually, he
with Raditz and
he eventually evolved into someone who went looking for fights instead of just reacting to people trying to fight him or destroy the world or whatever the case may be. And essentially, and this is interesting. But he seems to have gotten stupider. Like, he was never a rocket scientist, but like, he understood. He used to give like general speech, not really speeches.
I mean, you can only have so much hit in the head and not get a commotion.
That's fair. I assume you mean concussion?
Yeah. Oh my God, commotion is in French. Sorry.
For our French-speaking people out there, I'm sure they got it. But yeah, that's actually a good point. He's taking many blows to the head, and so maybe that's why he's
have some sort of brain damage.
But yeah, I mean, I like Dragon Ball Z. It's a good digestible anime where it's just like, hey, let's watch these people beat the hell out of each other
and scream for 6 episodes.
I mean,
I will say they don't do that nearly as much anymore, where it takes 100 episodes to get anywhere. They're much quicker about it now, but there's usually so much going on now that you can kind of lose track. Like Dragon Ball Super, which I can't really tell how people feel about it, because I keep hearing conflicting arguments. Like, some people thought it was cool, a lot of other people like hate it. I didn't think anybody hated it. I thought people were excited that it was coming back, or that it was back or whatever. But apparently there are people who just don't like it, and like more than just a few. I enjoyed it, especially the OP. I thought it was really cool. Yeah, it's like it, but I'm not gonna cape up for Dragon Ball Z. I'm not gonna be like, I'm not here to defend Dragon Ball Z at all. I think it's good, but I can totally understand why people would be turned off by it.
That's just my opinion on it. It makes me just
this is technically everything. I mean, this is all opinion. But yeah, okay. What else do you guys?
Okay. I don't know if this is going. All right, this one's gonna give me even more slack, but it was one that I literally saw on Fox that my a little cousin of mine was a fan of. That I had to sit and watch them on Saturday, so I had to suffer through it. It's called Ultimate Muscle.
Never heard of that one.
It's a wrestling anime.
It was a wrestling anime, and it's just bad.
I'll trust you. I already dislike.
Is that an anime?
That's an anime. It's not a cartoon. That's what.
Because I remember it was like on Fox Kids.
Yeah.
And like, I mean, not that anime can't be. I know Card Captors was on it, and so Sailor Moon and whatever. So I mean, like, it's not like it can't be. Yu-Gi-Oh.
Ultimate Muscle's an anime, and it's just god awful.
Yeah.
Mark, are you a wrestling fan by chance, or did you watch it as a kid?
Is it the one with Stone Cold and?
Answers the question right there.
Yeah.
Okay. Imagine a very worse version of that. Okay. And imagine just like your hero is such a wuss that you don't even understand why he's in the show.
It was kind of a weird show. I remember I remember the show. I also remember maybe watching a little bit of it at one point in time, but I definitely didn't get into it. Like, it's definitely not an anime that I was like, yeah, this is cool. No, it's not. This wasn't like, Shaman Kings or Yu-Gi-Oh.
It was bad.
Yeah, it was kind of weird.
It was like people were getting attacked with like crosses from people's chests. I'm sitting there like, wait a minute, what?
Yeah, intergalactic wrestlers.
Why is this man a centaur? Hold up. Why does he have chess pieces on him? This doesn't make... Okay, this is just weird even for me.
Mind the concept of, intergalactic wrestlers, and if it's intergalactic, you're going to end up with a bunch of different races and species who fight each other. What I find kind of off-putting is just it's kind of creepy. Like, it's like the main hero, whose name I don't really remember. I thought his name was Muscle or something like that.
Yeah, something Muscle, but he lusts after a girl for like the entire thing, I think. And every time she slaps the crap out of him and says no. Like, he's the biggest perv.
That's that older anime style right there. The generic running gag. And never really funny.
And they made the wrestler that represents Earth the Texan. And I was just like, this is just gonna be bad.
Yeah, it's definitely one of the weird low points of anime. But apparently it has a high rating across the board, actually. Yeah,
my cup of tea.
Yeah, on IMDb, it's 7.6 out of 10. On my anime list, it's 6.9 out of 10. And on TV.com, it's 7 out of 10, which is and it has a 95% rating likes on TV shows.
Kind of surprising.
Yeah, very, very surprising. But I think that has to do with the fact that there's a lot of nostalgia behind it. It came out when a lot of people were kids.
Oh, yeah.
And so they, if you grew up with it, if you liked it as a kid, it makes sense that it has a higher rating, I guess.
The funny thing I found out about it was, because I did research on it just because I was trying to see something. Mm-hmm. It's the Boruto of its show.
Explain.
There is another one, an older version of that came out in the 80s that apparently is about maybe, I think, his pops. And yeah, he is the equivalent of Boruto for his thing. His show.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, I would just let me look this up. Maybe I tried to give it another chance as I got older. Maybe it wouldn't be that stupid, and that's what I found out. Like, this show came before this one, and this is the prequel. Okay. Yeah. Fun fact.
And they're like, people are raving about how they love this. I thought it was creepy. The guy's lips are weird. He's just a creepy looking character.
But the sad thing is,
I've
watched an anime like this called Tiger Mask, and I'm like, this show isn't creepy. Why is this one creepy?
And Tiger Masters. Yeah, it really depends on, which way they go with it. Art style and animation and, the characters they generally create can drastically change how good or bad an anime is perceived. If it's really good or cringy or underwhelming, that's generally how that goes down.
I mean, I thought I would enjoy it because I was a wrestling fan a lot as a kid, but it just, no. Yeah, I felt like he was the first simp.
Yeah, I remember watching a few episodes. It just wasn't my thing. Especially, too, I think it's because I got into this at a different time. Like, it came out in 2002. I was a junior in high school. So, like, at that point in time, I'm not watching Ultimate Muscle. You know what I mean? Like, it's not that I didn't watch cartoons or anime, but that seemed a bit too juvenile for me.
Y'all making me feel young as crap. Yeah.
I guess moving on, Mark, what you got, man? What don't you like?
All right, I guess it's time for me to get flamed and destroyed, but I think I'm gonna start with the second one I want to pick, not the first one, because that one I'm gonna get wrecked. So I'll go with Fate, the series Fate. I've watched a whole season and tried to understand why people love that show. And
you got the season? Holy smokes, that's incredible.
Yeah, I went I think it was Fate Zero.
You know what? I understand. I've actually watched, we talked about this. I've watched two animes, particularly that I couldn't stand and somehow completed them. So I can't give you any grief on that.
Yeah, like I really tried for that one. Like I really wanted to get into it. I kind of like the character design, like Saber and everything. But I tried. I watched it. I feel the pacing was just meh. I feel there was nothing for me in it. Like there was no story except they tried to win a Holy Grail battle for some stupid reason that they don't really explain. So, and yeah, that's
you know what? I don't know how many people will give you crap on the Fate aspect because Fate already has a lot of. I'm not gonna say controversy around it, but there's a lot of people who don't know how to
be honest. You can't. There's no real damn way to watch that series. Like there's Fate Apocalyptica, Unlimited Blade Work.
Yeah, that's kind of the biggest problem is that it's so all over the place. There's no linear way to watch it. It's so many branches of the story.
I can agree with that because it gets really confusing.
Yeah.
I've watched like 6 episodes and I'll be like, all right, I'm so confused.
Like,
so who the hell am I supposed to root for?
I checked many times on the internet trying to get into it and everything. What's the correct way to watch? And there's not a single person that says the same thing. Not one.
Yeah, I tried to do that too. I think everybody at one point or another tries to do that.
Yeah.
But
that was not the anime I was scared of getting flamed on, really. So
okay. Hit us with it.
All right. I'm going to brace myself, fasten my seatbelt, everyone. One Piece.
Before, I do think it is a phenomenal anime that I can kind of understand why people. It's not your standard anime per se.
There's a number of reasons why. There's a number of reasons. It's not just like, I want to hate it because I hate it. No, I I tried
a lot of people feel
times.
that way, especially about the animation style. Throws them off. It's very similar to people who don't like JoJo's.
Yeah.
The animation and the goofiness of the show can throw some people. It really can. And so I understand that. I do always tell people, though, if they're going to give it a shot, you've got to push past the first two arcs, two or three arcs, to really get an understanding of the anime.
When we did the last recording, like the last episode that we had, when you were describing Marineford arc for 2 hours and a half.
Yeah, no, I really went into it.
At that point, I was like, I'm gonna give it a shot, and I watched 5 episodes. I was like, hell no, I'm not getting into this. You nearly sold it for me, but I don't want to spend 300 episodes to get to that one part that I want to see.
Yeah, and that's the thing. And it's hard to ask people. It's hard to ask people to commit to 3 or 4 season arcs worth of information just to get to where I think it'll be where you'll get hooked. Yeah, that's one hell of a commitment.
The pacing is stupid. Everything takes so damn long. And if I'm not mistaken, he has one gold coin in 900 episodes.
Mark, I would be mad at you, but you co-signed Dragon Ball Z with me, so I can't really judge you on that.
And the art is bad, bad. Some characters are 3 times longer.
I don't think it's bad. I think it's unique to the style of the anime. It has to be that way for the universe they built. The universe is very strange and goofy and with powers that require a sort of looseness. Otherwise, you end up with a lot of anime with powers and such where it comes off more action-packed and less fun. And I mean, as later seasons come, things get a lot more serious, but it does always maintain a certain level of fun-loving goofiness. But when it's time to get down to serious, it gets serious.
But I'll be honest, though. I imagine if I've watched the show when I was a kid and started back then, maybe I would watch it now because there's nostalgia and you grew up with the show. For now, it's just too kid-looking for me. I don't know.
I mean, One Piece in my mid-20s. I binged the hell out of it and caught up. It was great.
It's not that I'm scared of binging.
Like I said, if it's clearly you're not into it.
Yeah.
If it's not working,
I watched Naruto and Naruto Shippuden back to back, nothing else in between. So
I want to judge you, but I can understand where you're coming from.
You can judge me. You'd be wrong.
No, I actually can't because. I've been trying not to judge people. I'm trying to learn from their perspective, which is what I'm doing.
Especially we spoke 20 minutes about judging.
Yeah, I can do that. See, I can understand with the longness of the show and the art style, but it is a great story. That's just my opinion.
It is. It really, really is.
Don't get me wrong. The way that Tony was speaking about the Marineford arc, made me want to watch it, even though I know I didn't like it. That's good.
As a matter of fact, I'll be honest with you. I would just tell you to start from there. If I'm gonna be real with you, you can legitimately start from that arc and just keep moving on because all before that is just him assembling his crew. That's all it is. And honestly, every season is just I meet a new crew member and they're dealing with some crap.
I'm sure someone had a recap episode.
You have Nami, who's not country, but her land is being overrun by.
You know what? I'll make a deal with you. Find me a video that does a recap until the Marineford arc, and I'll give it a shot.
Give me 1 second.
No, not now, Brandon.
No, I have one on lock. That's the best thing.
Oh, that's fantastic. But but anyway, let's move off of One Piece. My God. Yeah, let's move off of One Piece. My God, you bring up One Piece, and I know some people are gonna be pissed off who are into rom-coms. I'm a big fan of rom-coms, but I can't get into this one. Snafu. I do not like this anime. I actually kind of despise it. Essentially, the anime is about a guy. And you know what? I'm not even gonna pretend like I totally understand. It's just two really unlikable people who I assume end up together eventually. They're both just kind of jerks. One of the guys is kind of, I don't remember what his deal is exactly, but like the teacher decides he can't be around regular people the way he's supposed to because he's so cynical and hard to deal with. So she forces him to join a club. A club. There's only one member in the club, and it's, at least I think there's one member. Again, don't at me, guys, because I only got 2 episodes in this thing before I quit. So I don't know if there's anybody else in this club. But the person he meets is this girl who completely has a lot of attitude issues and wants to ignore him at first. And then they go into this like battle between each other as far as, a war of words. And it's just insufferable, like, to listen to. They're just two jerks arguing with each other over nonsense. And then they eventually, I guess, get together. It's a rom-com, so I assume that's where they're going with this. And I just couldn't do it. I was like, man, what are these unlikable characters? Like, no, thank you.
Is that the one that My Teen Romantic Comedy or something like that?
Taken?
The My Teen Romantic Comedy, the Snafu, whatever it's called.
Yeah, that's what it is. People just call it Snafu for short.
Probably because they butchered the name like I did.
Yeah, it's such a. A lot of people love it. It's easily as far as rom-coms go, it's somewhere in the top 50. Yeah, I can't stand it. I've watched a lot of rom-coms in my day, and that's one that I just can't get through. Another anime that I had to put the brakes on that I also only got 2 episodes in, and I know you like this anime, Mark. Claymore.
I kind of expected you coming for that anime.
Yeah, Claymore, and I don't think it's bad. I don't think it's bad. I can't get into it for some reason. I've tried, I want to say 3 times I've tried, and I get to the same point, and I'm just like, why? What's happening here? What's
the reason why you can't get into it?
Just bored? It's not bored like Clan Ad boring, but there's nothing about it that pulls me forward. There's nothing about it that's like, I want to know more about this main character. I want to know more about the world they're in. I don't care. Like, I don't care about any of it. Like, I don't care about her. I don't care about the world. The world is really depressing to look at. Like, it's just, everything about it just dreary and depressing, and it's similar to Guts without all the demon stuff and rape and murder. I'm sure there's killing in Claymore. It's sword wielding giant woman beating up people, so I assume bloodshed happens. But regardless, I just can't get into it, and I feel like because it's very popular and it's not like I hate it. I recognize where the value is in the anime. I just personally can't get into it. I think the last one I'll mention, Kill la Kill. I don't know if you've watched Kill la Kill.
I did. I loved it.
Oh, did you? Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, Kill la Kill. Everybody, whenever you talk to me about anime, this always comes up in the conversation. I got 8 episodes into this thing, and I just was like, why?
I mean, it's not your fault.
It's so, and this is weird because I like One Piece. I love One Piece, and I love JoJo's. Both very strange anime in their own rights, but cool. And essentially, Kill la Kill is like that too. Very strange, but cool. I get why people can dig it. I just can't get past the fact that it's her outfit is alive, and she uses it to fight people, and they use outfits to fight. It so doesn't make sense to me, and the combat's just weird. Like, I can't even pinpoint my main issue. It's just nothing works for me. There's only one episode. Yeah, it just doesn't appeal. Like, I can't latch onto it. There is one episode that I did like, and that is when the family finally becomes wealthy.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, and they become assholes?
Yes, and they all become assholes. Like, it starts off great. She ends up working hard to, they legitimately get accepted into the school. And she starts working in the administration, whatever. As
oh my God, it's been a while now.
And she starts working her way up and whatever. It starts off as a funny little bit where she's like, she's kind of a lame brain. And so you think, she's going to like administration and whatnot. I forget what her job is exactly, but she's in certain cases, she's like an administrator to the main character. Everybody kind of has one or something like that. Manager of sorts. And so she's going to do that. And you think to yourself, you're kind of a lame brain. You're not going to be able to do this. It's weird. But she becomes really successful at it. And the family their status starts to rise. And they're super poor originally. And
what
they
is it
start
to have
rise.
Mystery croquettes?
Huh? Yeah, I know.
Yes. They have mystery croquettes that you don't know what's in it. It's
that was weird.
Okay.
I also find it really weird that like the family creeps on the main character a lot, like in just the most unsettling way. Like the father and the sons are always like hounding her sexually, and it's really weird because she's a high school student. Like,
but yet her mother
strange.
and daughter are exactly alike. They're both airheads.
Yeah.
They're all airheads in that anime.
But I love the episode because like it's they rise and they're happy, and you're happy for them because they're finally getting to enjoy living like normal people, eating regular meals and such like that. But then the family kind of decays because money and power corrupts. If not used properly and whatnot. And they all become very distant with each other because of it. Like the whole point was family are together and we're closer than ever. And now all of a sudden, none of them comes around for dinner. Everybody's consumed with money for different reasons. People are contemplating cheating. Others are in gambling and doing horrible things. It's chaos. And eventually when they finally escape, back to their humble lives, they come back to normal. And it's a really funny episode with a legitimate message about, money not being everything. Although I feel like only people who say that are people who have money or people who are trying to, I guess, guard themselves against what it feels like to not have money. But
like money
essentially,
happiness. Yeah,
it doesn't. But you know what?
I've never seen anyone cry in the Ferrari. So
I mean, I think it's all just about how much money. Anyway, so I can't get into Kill la Kill. It's a really weird show that just turns me off entirely.
It's not for everyone.
Yeah, the characters are really sporadic and strange.
It's goofy.
Yeah. The final one, although I said the final one was going to Kill la Kill, but I guess I'll throw this one in there since I had it locked and loaded. Psychopaths.
Hold up. Wait, don't.
Psychopaths was great until season 1 and then it sucked.
Thank you. Don't do this, Anthony. Please, I'm asking you, don't do this.
Anthony, do it.
I'm surprised.
Do it.
I'm surprised that this is the one that gets the blowback because I expected Clan Claymore, and Kill la Kill to get a lot more. I thought Psychopaths was going to be like, oh yeah, I remember that one, and okay.
I'm guessing it's because we already talk a lot about Claymore and Clan I could not give more fuck than I already did. So
Psychopaths, I can't go too deep into it because I just don't remember a lot about it. I got 2 episodes into it, and it was actually recommended by Marc, so I gave it a shot. And I don't know what to take from it. It's like the guy's a criminal, or he's seen as a criminal in that world.
No, he's a criminal.
No, criminals. They have like a old system, like a computer system that tracks people and know if they're about to there's a certain level, and
he's
about to
paired
fail,
with
your levels go up and everything, and that's why they hire criminal to be the police.
Yeah, criminal has to partner with an actual cop that has to be called.
And I'm just like, okay, and then I was bored. I guess it was just, that's a running theme with a lot of these. But I guess anybody can feel that way when they watch it. You either feel like you don't understand what's going on, or you're bored.
Okay, if you're bored with it, I can't really get mad at you. That's your prerogative. I gotta just go, bored.
It was just like, I don't get where this is going. I don't see the growth in this.
You didn't like it, so.
I mean, I can also see that, I could be wrong, I don't know. But I I could see them both liking each other, or her maybe having feelings for him. Maybe I don't know. I don't care. If I was gonna stick around for anything, it probably would have been that, like to see if they ever get together or want to get together, or there's hints of a relationship, under the surface. But at the end of the day, that requires me to watch more of this than I feel comfortable. So I gave up on it. There are worse anime I've watched that I've actually completed, but that's because they follow a guideline that I have, that at least the anime is not boring. And this was boring.
That's your thing, and I can respect it and go, it's okay. Yeah. Everyone has a couple of those they just can't do.
You just can't. Yeah, that's the deal. I just couldn't get into it. Same with the others. And I've tried, Tiger Pass I only tried once, but the other ones, I've come back to them several times, and I just can't push past it. But anyway, we have burnt through a lot of time. We still got a little time left. So we'll move on to what anime you guys watching? What you watching out there?
I'm gonna start with Oriyama. That my little rom-com that I love with that couple. I really root for them, and now, spoiler tag.
You rooting for them?
I root.
Wait. Which anime am I thinking of here?
The Oriyama one, the one where is the guy got to know that girl because of her brother and stuff. Schoolgirl.
Wait, is this the one where the girl is a closet otaku, or is this the one where she's part of, like, they're both a part of, like, not warring factions, but like she's part of they're both part of like mob families or something like that.
Holy crap! Did I really badly mispronounce the name that bad? No.
Remember,
it's Orimiya. Sorry. Orimiya. The girl named Kyoku and the guy named Izumi are two classmates, which lead the double life.
I am absolutely terrible with names.
Comes out every Saturday morning.
Oh, is it something that's going on right now?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
It's the truest relationship I've seen in a rom-com. Like, it's so fucking pure.
Wait, is that the one we were talking about?
Yeah, Horimiya.
Oh, okay. Yeah, you pronounce that. Oh my god.
Yeah, it's Horimiya.
Yeah, I think your accent along with just how you pronounce it at the beginning.
But yeah, in the anime that I mentioned, Oriyama.
Yeah.
Yeah, that one. Fun fact is that the Kyoku, the main girl, is voiced by the same voice actor that does Asuna and Zerodu, two of my top waifus. So it was meant to be, but I loved her.
Yeah, it's a really good anime, and you're right. It has one of the most realistic anime relationships I've seen.
Yeah, it's just awesome to watch. Like, it reminds me the way my wife and I started dating, basically.
You're a lucky man, lucky. But yeah, I definitely recommend that to anybody who is into rom-coms. Essentially, it's about a girl and a guy in the class. One's very popular, the other one is kind of not popular, but mostly not because he's like a bad, that creepy guy. Well, I guess in certain respects he's an outcast. He doesn't talk to anybody. He keeps to himself. He has long, shaggy hair. And so people just kind of think, a lot of people just think he's weird. Come to find out, both people have kind of an alternate life, sort of. Neither one of them are particularly hiding their alternate lives, per se. I guess he is sort of.
He is, yeah. Well,
he sort of is, mostly not because he's worried about anybody else finding out, like students. But the school would frown upon his look because he wears a lot of piercings, has tattoos, and that stuff is a no-go in Japanese schools. So he can't let them find out about it. He did it though. The saddest part. Well, I'm not gonna just watch the anime. It's really good. She, on the other hand, is kind of a house mom. It's weird. Someone's making a joke about that, and her secret identity is mom. She is. She's a super popular girl in school, but she goes home and she's just a good sister. She takes care of her brother, vacuums, cooks, and whatnot. She's very, caring. She's just a good sister. What a twist! But it's funny and it's sweet. And she sees him when he's dressed up, you know, in his outside look with him and his tattoo. He looks like one of those, you know, punk kids with all the cool ear piercings and the, you know, his hair tied back. He looks a lot cooler. Like, he looks like, wow. Like, he's a heartthrob when he is put together that way. Like, the ladies, like, they're moistening for him. But when he's in school, he looks just like this weird, dreary outcast. So it's this cool thing to see him switch between the characters, and she ends up falling for him, and he falls for her. And there's not a lot of controversy to their relationship. There is a little bit of will they, won't they, but it's not done in a very annoying way. You know, there's some sad drama little moments or whatever, but nothing is ever that drags the anime down into like this deep well of despair. So yeah, definitely give it a shot if you're into rom-coms.
Yeah, and honestly, it's probably like we said earlier, probably the most true. Like, how can I say that? I know it's saying in French, but it's a good way for romance to start in real life. Starts those ways. So
yeah, definitely.
I really don't know how to say that, but
this will be my first rom-com anime, so I'll take the suggestion.
Yeah, definitely. Watch. The thing is since it's one of your first, you won't appreciate it. Not that you won't enjoy it, but you won't appreciate it as much without like seeing other rom-coms
like Over the Moon
and
or
how
something like that.
Yeah, like to see the comparison to how bad some rom-coms can be and how mature this is. I'm not saying like other ones aren't good, but there's a lot of a lot of roadblocks and then drama thrown in just to shake things up. Oh, they're getting close together, and they might finally get together. Nope, they can't be together. Why? Because they threw a third friend in the mix, or a guy that just shows up now.
Oh, her brother saw him with a girl or something like that.
Exactly. Like now I'm upset because you talked to a girl that's in my class and they saw you holding hands or talking to her, and now I can't talk to you because you don't understand my feelings. And it's like, you could easily just talk.
Real high school drama.
You can easily just talk to each other.
I just had high school flashbacks. What the hell?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Well, that's the deal. Is that
it's real. It's real.
Yeah, I think that's the deal. Is that most rom-coms are more high school based as far as like the emotional instability, whereas Toriyama is more realistic to adults. Like, I'd say college students at the very least, where they talk things out, where they speak their emotions instead of hiding in a frantic panic or whatever. And even when they do sort of hide an emotion or something like that, it's understood, or it's, you know, the person waits to, you know, they respect each other's space and understanding. They don't push too hard. They don't demand too much.
To approach it.
It's very mature. That's what I like about it. It's very mature.
Okay.
Yeah, definitely watch it. I think it's really well done. It's also funny. I should add that too. It's also quite funny and adorable.
And to put it bluntly, like, there's three actually, that I just can't wait every damn week to watch, and this is one of them.
Oh, yeah. I'll give it a try then.
That goes with Attack on Titan, obviously, and Jobless. But
speaking of which, what else are you watching?
I basically told it the two other one I'm watching currently.
Oh, okay. Mark, Brandon, what have you been watching?
I'm Standing on a Million Lives.
Oh yeah, I watched that one.
Just like, yo, I feel bad for this guy because he keeps getting the worst jobs in the job system.
Yeah, but he always managed to find some way to use that.
And I'm like, wait a minute, are you? I wish I could do this in any MMO I've ever played, but you know.
Are you in right now?
Personally, I couldn't stand the anime. I thought it was a poor attempt at a kind of a Re:Zero style anime where a guy ends up in an isekai world. Not the truest sense of isekai, because they kind of get to go back and forth to their world. I'll throw an isekai tag at it because, you know, he's guy.
In the world.
Yeah. Anyway, they try to make it deeper or sad and depressing at times, but, you know, overcoming, you know, adversities and whatever. They try, but the writing is weak. The animation is second rate. Definitely. Oh my god, the animation is really crappy.
I mean, I don't see it being bad. At least this character does have a neck when he's supposed to have a neck. Sorry, Black Clover crack. I'm sorry. You did get better. I apologize.
But it's, I don't know. My feelings on it is that a lot of the common sense or like all the characters are kind of annoying. And I get it. He has trauma. But like, I'm not saying that you shouldn't. I mean, your trauma is what it is. And it takes, whatever time you need to deal with it is your time. Man. I'm not knocking that. But at the same time, they talk more about the fact that he has trauma than actually more going into the drama and trying to solve that. They don't really do that at all. And it's just him being kind of a jerk. Not really a jerk per se, but like, he clearly doesn't care about the people he's with. And he plans to use them to further his goals in this world. And that's, I'm not a fan of that approach. I'm not saying I'm not a fan of dark anime or whatever like that, but the way it's done here is so sloppy and just very inconsistent. And I don't know where you are in the story, so I don't want to tell you too much. But it's just
episode 4, but
yeah, okay. So yeah, you're definitely a ways off from some stuff. It just, I don't know. It's just a lot of it doesn't come together for me, and especially since isekai is one of my favorite genres. I'm holding it to others that have come before it, and it is just not. It's not hitting the notes properly. But
well, for what it's worth, I like it for what it was.
Yeah, if you like it, you like it. That's I just personally. Every week it came out, I would watch it and I'd just be like, it would take me a few days to finally watch it because I'm like, all right, finally, I'm down to my last anime this week. Let me finally get to it. And I watch it and I'm just kind of laying there and wait for it to be finished. That's kind of it. Like, it's every time. And apparently a season 2 is coming for it. So, even worse. Although I don't think I'll be watching it. So.
The other one I'm watching, and I'm going to get laughed at for, I'm watching Ace Attorney. Just because I need to laugh. Because I just need to laugh.
I never got into it, but I've heard many people have. It's a game.
Yeah, it's a game. And what's funny is I only watch it just because I know how silly it is.
Yeah.
And I'm just, good lord, this animated silly makes me even laugh harder.
Laughter's good. Laughter's always good.
Especially during these times.
Yep.
Yeah.
These crazy times.
Yeah, but if you're enjoying it, it's not one I would get into, although I contemplated it once. But much like you said, I feel like it's a little too silly.
It is.
I watched an episode with one of my favorite YouTube lawyers as he broke down the show and talked about how the inaccuracies of the law.
Yeah, as someone who tried to go to school for this, I'm like, no, that's not how that works. Why? Oh, okay. Now I know y'all are crazy. Okay. But yeah.
Okay, so what am I watching here? I'll start with Log Horizon, which I was super pumped for when it came, when they announced the season 3. It was one of the ones I was most looking forward to, outside of one or two others. And so far this season, I have been very disappointed. I actually just got through debating somebody for the last day and a half on Facebook, just back and forth comments. Because it's the first 5 episodes of this thing so far have been just politics. It's just political. They are going through a vote. They're trying to have it's just they're just they're going through this whole arc where they're trying. I'm not going into the details of what's actually going on, but they're trying to have a vote to see what happens here. Blah blah blah. I'm not even trying to get into how it all works.
It's basically not what you sign up for.
Yeah, well, because the thing is, the anime, and I get that there's going to be a certain level of politics at times because they're trying to create a foundation for this world that's better for everybody because they're kind of stuck there for now, and they're also trying to work with the people of the land, which are essentially used to be NPCs in a game, but those NPCs have come to life essentially. They're in the game, everything is now real. At least that's what they think it's a game. For all we know, the game was created based off of the world that they're in or whatever. Although I think it's a game based on certain evidence that they've talked about how time works and everything. All the lore that the main character has gotten that is used it's used as ancient scrolls and information. They have a sage guy who said, oh yeah, over 100,000 years this happened, this came, and the guy is like, wow, that makes sense. That was when the game started in our world. This is when it was introduced. And because of how time works, it makes sense that amount of time would have passed. And then, that new land that came is because of the update that we got of the new DLC and whatnot. And so, so it's clearly it used to be a game. At least that's what I've gathered from it. And they do dungeons. In the first season, they did dungeons and raids and
normal
combat. Yeah, there was normal MMO stuff that I was really enjoying because of the way the systems work and the character development, your guild, how the guilds operate with each other. They started a roundtable conference between some of the most important guilds in the town, in that city or whatever. And it's really great. Plus, they also realized that if they use their skills that they had beforehand, but they use their hands to legitimately make those things, because there's a system you can use in the game. Like food is a perfect example. You can buy food in this world, or you can create it with your creation system or whatever. But it tastes like nothing. It tastes like soggy. Skill. Yeah, if you have the cooking skill though, legitimately, and you actually cook like you would in the real world, then food tastes like food. But in that world, you need the skill to do it though. And you can level up that skill, blah, blah, blah. But, and so they start to realize that this can be applied to everything. Everything, science, engineering, all of it. They're making a locomotive, a train, and all that was really cool. And everything that's happened in these 2 seasons, even though season 2 was a bit touch or go at times, it was very interesting. And then there was a lot of answers a lot of questions we wanted answered by season 3, but there was no news on whether season 3 was ever going to happen. Then we got that news and everyone was psyched and expecting answers to some questions and getting to see some characters again. And we've got none of that, and it's 5 episodes in a 12 or 13 episode season. In my opinion, unacceptable. And if you like politics, that's fine. But considering the circus we've been through over the last year, especially, I'm just burnt out on politics, man. I don't want to do it. And I come to anime to escape the real world. And for the anime I look forward to most, drowning in politics it's boring me something fierce. The episode, I haven't seen the latest episode, just because I'm I don't feel like it. And that's painful because I love this anime. So, what are you gonna do? On the other side of the fence, as far as love or hate, Skate the Infinity. Anybody who's seen this will tell you it's really cool. It's about a guy who comes from Canada, who comes to Japan. Yeah, he's a snowboarder in Canada. For reasons, he comes to Japan. And he meets a friend who wants to teach him skateboarding. Or he wants to learn skateboarding. He was feeling kind of depressed. And snowboarding was kind of the thing he used to do to de-stress. But he stopped skateboarding after his father died or whatever. He stopped snowboarding after his father died. But he was really good at it. And so his friend teaches him skateboarding. And he lights up to it. He loves it. Get an episode or 2 of them training. A little bit of a montage kind of deal. But not so heavy. But he picks it up really quickly. Because he's kind of a prodigy. Not so much of actually, I would say, I just call him a prodigy. Because he picks up things pretty quickly. A lot of what goes on is that there's this battle lane that they go to where the baddest skateboarders, it's an underground skateboarding competition where 2 people skateboard, battle each other down this huge, not cliff, but this huge downward runway in this canyon. So there's rocks everywhere and whatnot, and they're kind of battling down. Anything goes. Do anything you want to knock your person off the board or whatever. I mean, you can just skate. If you guys want to have a friendly battle, you can just skate against each other. But that never seems to happen. And people use really creative moves and tactics and whatnot to win. And it's really cool. The skateboarding is really cool. The stuff they do to each other is a lot of fun. It's also funny and has some good characters in it. But the skating is so well done. God, it looks so good. And the animation is so sharp. There's actually a scene that popped up last week's episode where he does a move to kind of overcome the person he's going against right now. There's a character that's very Hisoka-like in this world. His name's Adam, literally spelled in all caps. And he is really creepy and very overly affectionate in a very creepy way. He also likes to destroy skateboarders who go up against him. putting them in the hospital and whatnot. He has this really wild, flamboyant costume. It's actually hilarious. Another cool aspect of this anime is that this is an underground competition. So everybody has like regular lives, like CEOs of companies. They have like public figures who like are beloved by, they have fans and whatever. The people think they're regular people with jobs and whatnot. Just regular. One guy who is like the weirdest clown face looking guy, kind of the Team Rocket of characters, I would say. He starts off as this bad guy and it kind of turns a bit goofy. You find out he's a florist. He's a big dude and he's a florist, and like he has a crush on the person he works with, and it's really, really funny watching him be like, oh, I'll get it right away. It's very sweet, but then he gets outside and meets like people in the underground, and he's like this foul-mouthed asshole, like it's ridiculous, who wears this like clown, like juggalo kind of face paint. It's wild, man. It's wild. It's funny, and the action is, it's really cool. The skateboarding competitions are really cool. The characters they're just cool. Like, it's all cool. And I think what I love most about it is they captured the essence. Now, I haven't skateboarded a day in my life. I've always respected skateboarding. I've watched a bunch of it, X Games wise and such, but I've never been a skateboarder, so I can't speak to the soul of a skateboarder. But everything I've ever imagined about skateboarding or felt about skateboarding, this anime really speaks to that. The vibe, everything they do is so smooth and amazing. It has this chill style. And the OP and the ND both are really cool. The OP is this like really bumping kind of you and your buddies skateboarding and doing your little tricks, and it's a real pump vibe to it. And then the ending has this really like laid back, it's just you kind of skateboarding, maybe at night or in the late afternoon, just kind of taking the wind in your hair and just, letting the board do the work kind of deal. And I dig that. Like, I dig the work that whoever put into it to embody everything about skateboarding and how fun it is, how dangerous it can be, and just the spirit of it. I really dig that. One's really good, and people seem to be loving it. It's gotten really popular really fast. Finally, so I'm a spider, so what?
I don't know how I feel about that one.
I wasn't a fan. It has finally started getting good. Basically, last week's episode is what the first episode should have been. So it's like, I feel like right now I'm on episode 2. Because this episode that came out today, I just watched it this morning. It's good. I like where this is going. It seems a lot more interesting now. Yeah, it's just like,
because right now I didn't like the first few episodes. I was like, okay, are we following her as a spider, or are we following those guys from her class, and what's happening? They still have
a job splitting up those two stories properly. That's still stupid and terrible the way that's done. They really need to the way I would have done this is having one season be about the spider and another season be about the class. And then a third season where you bring them both together, because now we know all the stories and whatever, and so you can switch back and forth a bit more without, because we already know everything. It's just now we're bringing them together for whatever reason. I don't know how they're gonna cross over with each other. I assume eventually the Spider Girl is gonna end up meeting her classmates again or whatnot. But the way they've done it now makes me very disinterested in the human story. And I'm finally getting interested in the spider story, but it's taken a while.
Isn't this like the female equivalent to how I got reincarnated as slime?
Should be, but it's not. It's got certain aspects of that, but where what makes reincarnated so good, let's just call it Slime-kun. What makes that so good is that it tells a proper story. First of all, we know why he ended up in this other world. We don't know why they ended up in the other world. They died. A beam comes down, wipes them all out for reasons, and we got no real context as to what's going on, why they were brought there, why anything. Nothing's explained in that regard.
That's really confusing.
Yeah, where Slime learns about his abilities, he gains, even before he leaves the cave. First of all, they don't keep him in a cave for, 5 episodes. He's out of there in like one and a half episodes. But through that time, he gains different abilities, and he's fun to listen to. Like, because the spider is more parody, she's like over the top goofy. Whereas Rimuru just, he has funny commentary, but he's always trying to, move forward with it or whatever. He's not so over the top. Also, we get to see the outside world. We get to see the story build, the great forest, the dwarven city, the goblin town. Everything gets developed.
There's a good pacing.
We haven't exactly the pacing. We haven't gotten any developed. This spider's still in this cave, and
she's still gooping around about getting killed, then eating whatever she killed.
Yeah, every episode has been the same.
She levels up. She's still weak. There's nothing coming out of it.
Yeah, there's nothing new happening. Nothing explains anything. And then on top of that, they cut about half the episode to dedicate to the human side of the story, which makes even less sense than the spider story. It's very confusing.
Yeah, that sounds confusing. I was really trying to watch.
Honestly, I was hyped for that one.
I was very hyped for it. I mean, I am about isekai anime. I love them. But it's finally gotten better. And I've enjoyed the last 2 episodes a lot more. And I'm looking forward to the next episode. But
your description has turned me off from wanting to watch that for a minute.
Yeah, it's based on how it's getting better now, I would say if you like isekai, give it a shot.
I like slime, so of course I like
isekai. There's no rushing to it.
Okay.
But but that's it. We've gotten through another episode. I want to thank everybody. I want to thank Marc and Brandon for coming out once again. I want to thank everybody listening, everybody that's supporting us, and I look forward to the next episode. Why don't you guys tell them where they can find you?
Well, you can find me on the Twitter or Twitch at the same name as LeonHartX44. It's all the same name, LeonHartX44. Instagram, Twitter, or Twitch.
You can find me on Twitch at American Black Up. You can find me on Instagram on American Black Up. And you can find me on Twitter at American Black Up.
Your turn, Senpai.
You can find me, as always, at Supersize Senpai, pretty much everywhere. Twitter, Twitch, and Facebook. Yeah, one of these days I'll get around to that. I'm also going to start streaming and recording weekly videos about all kinds of geek-centric stuff. So stay tuned for that. I got a webcam coming. Should be here on Monday. Got a lot more content coming that I hope all of you love. As always, thank you for coming out. We love you. We'll see you again next time.
See you next time, everyone.
Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe.